All right. Welcome to the review for Chapter 1 test, and you're going to find that some of the same questions here at the get-go are some of the questions we used on the review for our quiz. Many of you were unable to access My Big Campus and didn't follow through with that. Not at your fault. Um, so if many of these will still be new to most of you. So let's go ahead and get started. I again want you to hit pause before we do each problem, and I want you to solve it so that you can check answers, and we can kind of go from there. And if you have questions, we're going to be answering them in class the next day before we take our quiz, our test. So it's good to watch this prior to our review day so then you have a much clearer understanding of what needs to take place and what's going to be on the test. So go ahead and hit pause and solve this problem. All right, it says the times that a new movie is showing are 9:30, 11:12, 12:54 p.m., and 2:36 p.m. If the pattern continues, what are the next three show times? So we got to find the pattern. So working from 9:30 to the next one, which is 11:12. So let's work by whole hours. So for the next hour would give me 10:30. Okay, so there's 1 hour. And from 10:30 to 11:30 would be too much. So let's go to the next whole hour, so 11 o'clock. So that gives me 30 minutes. And from 11 to the 11:12 is going to be just 12 more minutes, adding those going from 0 to 12. So I add 12 more minutes to my minutes, so I get 1 hour and 42 minutes. So let's see if that is the pattern. Okay, instead of multiplying, I'm obviously going most likely with our time. It's always adding something onto it, but we need to double check. So if we go from 11:12, okay, and add 1 hour 42 minutes, so here's my hours, so I'm going to add 1 to this and 42 minutes to this one. And if we add those up, we get 4 and 5. And here is 2 and 1 when we add, and 12:54. So that appears to be our correct pattern. If we were to add another hour and 42 minutes to this, we would get 6 and 9, and then we would get the 3 and the 1. Now, obviously, because of our hours, we cannot have more than 12 hours, so then it carries on. So if we subtract 12 from this, that's my 1, so there's my 1 o'clock, okay, and then 96 minutes. And if we recall, we cannot have more than 60 minutes in 1 hour. So we're going to need to subtract 60 minutes from this and add it on to our whole number of 1 hour, which is going to give me 6 and 3. So 36, this group of 60 minutes, I'll add on as 1 whole hour to my 1. And so 2 hours and 36 minutes. So 2 o'clock, 36, 2:36, it matches up. So now we've got to find the next 3. So if we take my 2:36 and we add 1 hour, 42 minutes to this, we get 8 and 7, and then 3. Now again, we cannot have more than 60 minutes here. Actually, if we get a group of 60, it's 1 whole hour, so 59 minutes or less can stay. So we're going to subtract 60 minutes from this, and you're going to get 8 and 1, so there's 1, and we're going to add that group of 60 minutes that we took away from it and add it on to my 3, which gives me 4:18. So 4:18 p.m. And then we're going to add another 1 hour 42 minutes to that. And we get 0, carry the 1, and a 60. And this is a 5. So 5 hours, 60 minutes, and 60 minutes, as we said, actually gives me 1 whole hour. So we're going to add that 60 minutes and add it on to my 5. So now it's actually 6 o'clock. And we can take my 6 o'clock and add 1 hour 42 minutes and get 42 and 7. So 7:42 p.m. Those are my 3 showtimes that follow. Okay. Again, please take note if you're uncertain of those. Let's look at the next one. It says tell whether is prime, composite, or neither. Remember, prime numbers are only numbers that can have factors of 1 and itself. Composite are all the rest except for my 0 and 1, which are neither. So go ahead and do A, B, and C. All right, looking at A, first of all, is it an even number? If it is, we know that it has other factors because 2 will divide into it, and it is even, therefore composite. It's not writing well for me today, so bear with me here. 51. Is it an even number? We say no, that it is not. It's an odd number because of the 1. This is a tough one. If we use our divisibility rules, if we add these two together, which would do the digits itself, so 5 plus 1 is 6. Does 3 go into 6 equally? Yes, it does, twice. Therefore, the answer to this is composite because our 3 divides into it, which would actually be 3 times 17. Okay, that's a tough one. And then my number 1, it is neither. Okay, it is neither because the only factor of 1 is 1. 0, there are infinite numbers of factors for that. Prime factorization, again, this is my factor tree. So go ahead and do that. You're going to start with 42 and branch off of that. Go ahead and hit pause and solve for A and B. All right, we can use any factors we can get to get 42. I'm going to use 6 times 7. And please circle your numbers that are prime. I think that's where some of you made your mistakes on the quiz. You left a few numbers off of there, and make sure that you have that. And then 2 times 3. Those are both prime, so my answer to this is 2 times 3 times 7. And remember, you can always check this. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 7, does that equal 42? Yes, check. So this right here that I have circled, 2 times 3 times 7, that is your answer. Letter B, the answer to that is prime. 17 is already prime, so there is no factorization you can do of that. Okay, let's look at the next one. This is where in your notes you can always write this down, make sure you have the directions, write each product using an exponent. So we're going to write it as an exponent, then find the value. So go ahead and hit pause and solve these two problems. All right, so you're going to end up writing this 5 is my base, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 4th power, 5 to the 4th power. And as far as the value, both of those, 5 times 5 is 25, 5 times 5 is 25. I'm going to multiply those together. And 25 times 25 is going to give me 625. That is the value of that. This one, I've got the base is 4, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. That's my exponent. Then I can simply look at this and go, well, 4 times 4 is 16. Same thing here. And 1 left over times 4. And then take your 16 times 16, which equals 256 times the 4, which is 1024. Okay. Let's look at the next one. So again, keep checking your answers. If you have questions, you can ask them tomorrow. Write each power as a product of the same factor. You're writing these out. So same factor, it is 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. There are 5 of them. That's what that exponent's telling us. And 6 cubed, remember 6 cubed is 6 to the 3rd power. That is not what they're asking though. Write them out. So it's 6 times 6 times 6. Okay, remember, squared is 6 to the 2nd power, which would have been just 6 times 6. Okay, this, whoops, right here what I have circled, that is your answer to 6 cubed. Let's look at the next one. It says find the value of each expression. Go ahead and hit pause and solve this. Well, hopefully you wrote down your orders of operation, PEMDAS. And PEMDAS, no parentheses, so we're going to do exponents, and 3 times 3 times 3 would be 9 times 3, which is 27. So I'm going to rewrite this, 8 plus 27 times 4. And now we have to use multiply or divide, working left to right, which we have multiplication. So 27 times 4, and we get 28. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. So 8 plus 108, and we add another 8 onto this, and we get 16, carry the 1, 0 plus 1 is 1, and 1 more for your hundreds, and 116's your answer. Again, PEMDAS, we're looking at this one. We have parentheses, no. We have exponents, yes. So 11 times 11, which is going to give me 121. Rewrite it. Minus 6 plus 3 times 15. Now again, multiply or divide, working left to right, we have multiplication. So 121 minus 6 plus the 3 times 15. Okay, so then we can go over here, 15 times 3, and we get 15, carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4, so we get 45. Now we have to work left to right, adding or subtracting. So in this case, we are not adding first. We must work left to right. So we get 121 minus 6 is going to give me 115 plus 45, and when we add that together, we get 160 for an answer. Okay, so please be very, very careful that you, on this one, subtracted before you add. Again, orders of operation, I know it says add, then subtract, but we've said this time and time again, this is an or, and it is working left to right. Same with multiplication or division. Next problem, it says evaluate each expression if A equals 18 and B equals 6. Plug them in, use your orders of operation, and solve. All right, so A is 18, B is 6. AB stands for multiplication. So we take our 18 times our 6, we get 48. 4 times 6, or excuse me, 6 times 1 is 6, plus the 4 more is 10. So we get 108. Done. Next one, we get 3b squared. So it's 3 times b, which is 6, that is squared, plus 18. So now you're going to Underline the first part, PEMDAS, so exponents, so 3 times, this is 6 times 6, which is 36, plus 18. Now we have to multiply or divide. We're going to multiply, so 36 times 6, and that's 36. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 more is 21. And then we're going to add our 18 onto this, and we get 14, carry the 1, 3, 2. So 234 is my answer. Next problem. Find the rule for each function table. Go ahead and hit pause and solve for this. All right, we are trying to find the rule, so finding the pattern. 0 became 0. 3 became a 6. Well, remember, it's getting bigger, so we're going to add or multiply. So if we're going to add 3 onto the 3 to get 6, that works, but does adding 3 onto 5 give me 10? No, it gives me 8. So 3 times 2 will give me 6. Does 5 times 2 give me 10? Does 0 times 2 give me 0? Yes, it does. Remember, sometimes if we get 0 up here first, it's going to be very difficult to see the pattern. You're going to have to move on and see if it works for the others. So my answer to this is x times 2. Or you might add 2x. That would work as well. Let's look at the next one. It is now 6 becoming a 2, 12 a 4, 15 a 5. We're getting smaller. So let's subtract 6 minus 4. That gives me 2. Does 12 minus 4 give me 4? No, it does not. So let's try division. So 6 divided by what would give me 2? Would be 3. So does 12 divided by 3 give me 4? Yes. Does 15 divided by 3 give me 5? Yes. So my answer to this is x divided by 3. Okay. So let's look at our next one. Solve each equation mentally. So go ahead and hit pause and solve those. All right, so my question now is 15 plus what will give me 4? Give me 40. We always start on the side with the variable. That's what we're trying to find. M is going to equal what? Well, if we take 40 and we do the inverse, it says to add. If we subtract 15 from that, you're going to see that we get, there's 5. All right, had a little mess up here. I apologize. So we're going to solve this mentally. You might be hearing me restate this. You're going to solve it mentally. M is what we're solving for. M equals. So it's 15 plus what gives me 40? Well, you're going to, you can solve that. You can just think about what that is. Or you can always do the inverse, which would be 40 minus the 15. And that's going to give me 10 and 3 because we got to borrow from the 4. That's going to be 5. It's not helping me here very much today. That's 5, and then subtract here, and we get 2, so my answer is 25. And check it. Does 15 plus 25 equal 40? Yes, it does. Next one, we're trying to find out what divided by 10 equals 120. So again, we can do the inverse for this. And we can simply take 120. Since it says divide, we can multiply by 10. And when you get that, you end up getting 0, 0, 0. Add a 0 for place value, 0, 2, 1. And you will see you get 1200. Okay? And yes, if we take 1200 and divide it by 10, you do get 120. Okay? Let's look at the next one. Finding the area. Go ahead and hit pause and solve this. All right, now, as you again need to do is write down the formula to this. My length is 13. My width is 5. So 13 times 5, and you see we get 15. Carry the 1 and 6. So we get 65, but it is not just 65. Remember, it is square units of measurement, 65 square meters. Okay, make sure you get that unit of measurement placed on your answer. And the last one is the mean, median, mode, and range for the set of numbers. So go ahead and solve this. Well, the first thing we need to do, and I want you to get into habit of this, is certainly writing these in order from least to greatest. So we get 18, 22, 23, 27, 29, 34, and 36. Okay, so for finding the mean, you're going to have to add all of these numbers together. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to, for time's sake, use a calculator. 18 plus 22, 23, 27, 29, 34, and 36 is going to give me 189. We are going to take that number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers, and we're going to divide that by the 7. And you can see this is going to go into it twice, which is 14. We get 4, bring down the 9, and 7 goes into 49 exactly 7 times. So my answer to the median, I'm just going to write it, the mean, I'm going to write it above this, is 27. The median, working our way to the middle for this, would be working our way from the middle to the outside, 3 on both sides, 27 is left alone in the middle, therefore 27 is my answer. For my mode, the number that occurs most often, do any of these numbers occur more than once? And none of them do. Therefore, there is no mode. In the range, working from looking at my smallest and my largest, simply taking those and subtracting them. Subtract, we have to borrow from the 3, gives me 16. Subtract 8 from 16, and I get 8, and 1, 2 minus 1. So my answer to the range is 18. Okay? Should highlight those in blue. Again, if you have any questions, please take note of that. We are going to be working on this in class tomorrow and preparing for the test the next day. So please make certain that you're taking notes and ask those questions, anything that you're uncertain of, for tomorrow in class. Have a great day and good luck.